They told her to let it go. The luggage was protected, but her canine wouldn't stop. And when he bit through the case, what they found left everyone speechless. Here's the full story. But before we continue, drop a comment below telling us where in the world you're watching from. And if you love extraordinary police dogs, stories like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. The fluorescent lights of JFK International Airport's Terminal 4 cast a sterile glow across the polished floors as Officer Mia Ramirez adjusted her dark blue K9 unit jacket, shaking off the winter chill that clung to her shoulders. Outside, the January wind howled against the massive glass windows, carrying promises of the season's first major snowstorm. The air inside was a peculiar mix of antiseptic cleaning products, overpriced coffee, and the subtle perfume of duty-free fragrances, a sensory cocktail Mia had grown accustomed to over her 5 years with the Port Authority Police. Beside her, Ranger, her Dutch Shepherd partner of 3 years, moved with fluid precision, his muscular frame maintaining perfect heel position despite the chaos of the bustling terminal. His dark coat gleamed under the harsh lighting, the official K9 unit vest a stark contrast against his tan markings. Occasionally, his ears would twitch at the cacophony of announcements echoing through the terminal. Boarding calls, security reminders, and pages for missing passengers, all competing for attention in the acoustic chaos of the international hub. "Going to be a long shift today, buddy," she murmured, checking her watch. 5:15 a.m. The red-eye flights were landing, bringing the first wave of weary international travelers through customs before most of New York had even hit the snooze button. Security Supervisor Thornton approached, his perpetual frown carved deeper into his face than usual. "Ramirez, we've got heightened alerts from Interpol this morning. That wildlife trafficking intelligence is solid. They're expecting movement through a major East Coast hub within the next 48 hours. Mia nodded, watching Ranger's body language as travelers streamed past. "Any specific flags we should be watching for?" "Diplomatic pouches, high-end luggage, anything coming in from Southeast Asia or Central Africa." Thornton lowered his voice. "And the brass is nervous about jurisdiction issues. State Department's breathing down our necks about diplomatic sensitivity." "Understood, but if Ranger hits on something, we're investigating." Her tone left no room for negotiation. They resumed their patrol, moving smoothly between the gates. The terminal was beginning to fill with the particular energy of an international hub. Business people clutching coffee cups like lifelines, tourists struggling with oversized luggage, tearful reunions at arrivals. "Officer Ramirez," crackled her radio. "Emirates Flight 203 just landed at Gate B7, full capacity, VIP passengers in first class, standard sweep requested." "Copy that. K9 unit en route," she responded, already adjusting her direction toward the international arrivals section. They reached the international arrivals area just as passengers from Emirates 203 began filtering through customs. Ranger maintained his disciplined pace beside Mia, conducting his routine security sweep with practiced efficiency. The first-class passengers emerged first, their expensive luggage and confident strides carrying them through the terminal with the ease of frequent travelers. That's when Ranger's behavior shifted. The change was subtle at first, a slight stiffening in his shoulders, ears pricking forward more rigidly than usual. Mia immediately tuned into her partner's body language, watching as his nose worked overtime, tracking an invisible scent trail that had captured his complete attention. "What is it, boy?" she murmured, allowing him to guide their movement through the crowd. Ranger led her toward the premium luggage carousel, where a collection of designer suitcases awaited their owners. His focus locked onto a particular black leather travel case, a handcrafted piece bearing a prestigious Italian designer's emblem. Its owner, a distinguished-looking man in his 50s, wearing an impeccably tailored suit, stood nearby examining his diplomatic passport. Ranger's demeanor changed dramatically. The casual, controlled movement of routine patrol transformed into rigid alertness, his tail straight and muscles visibly tensing beneath his working vest. "Sir?" Mia approached, maintaining professional calm. I'm Officer Ramirez with Port Authority Police. Would you mind stepping aside with your luggage for a moment? The man looked up, his expression transitioning from mild annoyance to practiced diplomatic poise. Is there a problem, officer? His English carried the faint accent of a native Arabic speaker, his manner cultivated and composed. Just a routine security check, Mia explained, noting how the man's eyes darted between her, Ranger, and the nearest exit. The luggage tag displayed the name Dr. Ahmed Nazari, with diplomatic credentials from a small but wealthy Gulf nation. She gestured toward a nearby screening area. But before the man could respond, Ranger's behavior escalated dramatically. A low growl rumbled from deep in his chest, a sound Mia had rarely heard from her normally controlled partner. "Control your animal, please," Dr. Nazari said, his voice tightening. "I have diplomatic immunity, and this is simply unacceptable treatment." "Ranger, heel," Mia commanded firmly. But her partner's attention remained locked on the suitcase. Several travelers had stopped to watch the developing situation, some pulling out phones to record. "I have an important meeting with your State Department in 3 hours," Nazari continued, producing official-looking documentation. "This diplomatic pouch is protected under international law." Mia began to respond when the unthinkable happened. Ranger lunged forward with startling speed, sinking his teeth into the leather suitcase and pulling it forcefully away from Nazari. The move was so unexpected, so contrary to his years of disciplined training, that for a split second, Mia froze in shock. "Control that animal immediately!" Nazari shouted, his composure cracking. Security personnel converged on the scene as Ranger maintained his grip on the suitcase, a growl still rumbling through his clenched teeth. Travelers gasped and backed away, creating a widening circle around the confrontation. "Ranger, release!" Mia commanded. To her relief, Ranger released the suitcase, but positioned himself between it and Nazari, his body language unmistakably protective. The leather now bore visible puncture marks from his teeth, revealing something unusual about its construction. The bite marks hadn't penetrated as deeply as they should have. "Officer Ramirez, stand down," Thornton ordered, his voice low but urgent as he reached them. "Dr. Nazari, I deeply apologize for this unfortunate incident." Mia stepped closer to Ranger, placing a steady hand on his harness. "Sir, my K9 is giving a definitive alert on this luggage." "It's a diplomatic pouch," Thornton hissed. "You know the protocols." "With all due respect, something's not right," Mia insisted, studying the suitcase. The puncture marks from Ranger's teeth had revealed an unusual pattern beneath the torn leather, something that looked suspiciously like reinforced material. "I demand to speak with your superior immediately," Nazari stated firmly. "This officer and her uncontrolled animal have violated international law." As Thornton began guiding Nazari away, Mia made a quick decision. "Supervisor, I need to inspect this luggage." "Absolutely not," Nazari interjected. "This is a diplomatic pouch containing sensitive materials for my government." Mia stood her ground. "Sir, I respect diplomatic protocols, but I need to see the diplomatic courier paperwork for this specific item." A flicker of hesitation crossed Nazari's face. "Surely that's unnecessary. My credentials—" "Your credentials identify you as a diplomat," Mia agreed calmly. "But diplomatic pouches require specific documentation for each item, standard procedure." As they waited for credential verification, Mia's mind drifted to their first meeting 3 years ago at the Port Authority K9 Training Center. She had just transferred from military police, carrying both commendations and the invisible weight of a deployment that had ended with an IED taking her partner's life. The kennels had been loud that day, most dogs barking energetically as potential handlers walked the concrete aisle. But one kennel remained quiet. Inside, a Dutch shepherd with intelligent eyes tracked her movement without making a sound. "That's Ranger," the trainer had explained. 18 months old, exceptional detection scores, but he's been through 3 handlers already. Too intense, they said. Too focused. Mia had knelt before the kennel, meeting those evaluating eyes. "You're not a failure," she'd said quietly. "You just haven't found someone who understands how you think." The shepherd had tilted his head, ears pricked forward with sudden interest. Then, to the trainer's visible shock, he had approached the fence, pressing his nose against Mia's outstretched hand. 6 months into their partnership came the first real test. A routine patrol through Terminal B had turned urgent when rangers suddenly diverted from their assigned route, pulling Mia toward an abandoned backpack near a support column. The bomb squad had later confirmed what Ranger already knew. The device contained enough explosives to devastate the crowded terminal. A voice from the present pulled her back. "Ramirez, diplomatic security services on the line. They have no record of Dr. Nazari's credentials in their system." Thornton's phone buzzed. As he read the incoming message, his expression shifted from annoyance to confusion. "Credentials are inconclusive. State Department has no record of a diplomatic meeting with Dr. Nazari today." Mia's hand moved closer to her service weapon as she turned to face Nazari. "Sir, would you mind coming with us to the security office while we sort this out?" The veneer of diplomatic indignation fell away like a discarded mask. "This is preposterous. I will not be detained by airport security." The security screening room hummed with tension as Mia and Thornton watched the X-ray operator run Nazari's suitcase through the scanner for the third time. Ranger sat alertly beside Mia, his attention never wavering from the luggage on the conveyor belt. "This doesn't make sense," the technician muttered, adjusting settings. "The scan shows nothing." "Nothing?" Thornton leaned closer to the monitor. "That's what's weird. Not just no contraband, literally nothing. It's like the contents are invisible to the scanner." The technician pointed to dark areas on the screen. "These shadows shouldn't be there. Something's blocking the scan completely." In the adjacent interrogation room, Nazari sat rigidly in a metal chair, his earlier diplomatic poise replaced by the cold calculation as he spoke into a phone. "We've got DSS agents en route," Thornton reported, lowering his cell phone. 20 minutes out." "We don't have 20 minutes, Mia said, watching Nazari. "He's making arrangements. Look at his body language. He's not protesting anymore. He's stalling." The door swung open as Officer Chen entered, her expression grave. "We've got a situation. The embassy is sending representatives claiming diplomatic immunity for both Nazari and his luggage. They've involved someone high up. Orders just came down to release him immediately." "Sir, whatever's in that case, it's worth risking careers over." She stepped closer to Thornton. "Think about it. Specialized shielding, fake diplomatic credentials, emergency extraction. These aren't the actions of an innocent man." The room's door opened again as another officer entered. "Sir, just got word. Our credential check triggered something. Interpol has a flag on similar documentation used in smuggling operations across Europe and Asia." That was enough for Thornton. "Prepare for cavity search of the luggage. Full protocol. Bomb squad on standby." As they prepared the equipment, a commotion erupted in the hallway. The screening room door burst open, revealing Port Director Marshall flanked by 2 men in expensive suits. "This operation ends now," he announced. "These gentlemen are from the embassy. They're taking custody of Dr. Nazari and his belongings immediately." As identification was reluctantly produced, Mia noticed movement in the interrogation room. Through the one-way glass, she watched Nazari rise suddenly from his chair, using the distraction to slip toward the room's second exit. "Suspect is escaping!" she shouted, already moving. "Ranger, hold! Her command stopped Ranger from following as she burst into the hallway in pursuit. Ahead, Nazari was sprinting toward a service corridor, moving with unexpected agility for a man his age. While Mia pursued Nazari, the security room erupted into controlled chaos. With gloved hands, the bomb squad technician examined the punctures Ranger had created, carefully widening the tear in the leather exterior. Beneath it lay a sophisticated layer of metallic mesh, the shielding material that had defeated their scanners. "High-density, tungsten-infused fabric," the technician explained. "Military-grade countermeasure for imaging technology." With specialized cutting tools, he carefully breached the protective layer. The assembled officers leaned forward as the case was finally opened, revealing a custom interior unlike anything they'd encountered before. "Jesus Christ," Thornton whispered. Inside, nestled in individually climate-controlled compartments, lay dozens of exotic creatures, rare reptiles, colorful amphibians, and small feathered forms barely moving in sedated stupor. Custom-built vials circulated air and regulated temperature for each specimen. The engineering was military-grade, miniaturized life support systems with redundant fail-safes, monitoring chips, and what appeared to be remote access capabilities for adjusting conditions during transport. This wasn't amateur smuggling. This was a sophisticated operation with serious funding behind it. Tiny LED indicators blinked green beside each compartment, monitoring oxygen levels, humidity, and temperature with precision that would impress a NASA engineer. The integration of technology with the brutality of wildlife trafficking created a disturbing juxtaposition. So much care taken to keep the animals alive, only to sell them to the highest bidder. The wildlife expert they had called in pushed forward, her face paling. "These are black-spotted newts," she identified, pointing to salamander-like creatures with vibrant orange underbellies, their delicate gills moving almost imperceptibly in their unconscious state. Critically endangered, maybe 200 left in the wild, worth upwards of $30,000 each on the black market. She moved to another compartment. Golden poison dart frogs, phantasmal poison frogs, a pair of Spix's macaw chicks. These birds are functionally extinct in the wild. This is a wildlife trafficking motherlode, some of the rarest creatures on Earth. The technician continued his methodical investigation, revealing a false bottom beneath the animal compartments. "We've got secondary concealment here." The hidden section contained neatly organized stacks of documents, passports, permits, customs declarations, all elaborately forged, but high quality enough to pass routine inspection. A smaller lead-lined container occupied the corner of the hidden compartment. When carefully opened, it revealed vials of clear liquid packed in medical-grade cooling material. "Don't touch those," warned the hazmat specialist who had joined them. "Based on the labeling, that's some kind of biotoxin extracted from those amphibians. Poison dart frogs produce some of the deadliest natural toxins known to science." "Sir," called a junior officer, reviewing data on a tablet. "Interpol just sent an intelligence report. Dr. Ahmed Nazari matches the description of a suspect known as the Conservator, a high-level wildlife trafficker specializing in endangered species." Meanwhile, Mia's boots pounded against the concrete service corridor as she pursued Nazari through the labyrinthine back areas of the terminal. The suspect moved with surprising speed and confidence, suggesting familiarity with the airport's layout. "Stop! Airport police!" she shouted, knowing it was futile but following protocol. Nazari glanced back briefly, his expression no longer that of a dignified diplomat but a cornered predator. He shoved a luggage cart into her path without breaking stride, forcing Mia to hurdle it awkwardly. "All units, suspect heading toward ground transportation level via Service Corridor D," she reported into her radio. "Need backup at all vehicle exits." Nazari burst through a fire door into the baggage handling area, startling workers who scattered from his path. As Nazari approached another exit, the door swung open unexpectedly, revealing 2 airport security officers responding to Mia's call. He pivoted sharply, changing direction toward the vehicle service bays where catering trucks and fuel vehicles accessed the tarmac. Nazari reached into his jacket as he ran, extracting something small and metallic. "This is Curator," she heard him pant as he spoke into it. "Compromise at extraction point. Activate contingency protocol." As they entered the vehicle inspection area, she made her move. Lunging forward, she caught the back of Nazari's expensive suit jacket, pulling him off balance. They both tumbled to the ground, Mia immediately working to secure the struggling man. "Ahmed Nazari, you're under arrest," she grunted, fighting to control his wrists as he thrashed beneath her. "You have no idea what you've done," Nazari hissed, his cultivated accent giving way to something harder, more authentic. "Do you know who I represent? What powers protect my operation?" Mia succeeded in cuffing one wrist. "I know you're smuggling endangered species and restricted biotoxins. That's enough." "Fool. The animals are merely profitable cargo. What we transport with them is worth 1,000 times more." Before Mia could secure the second cuff, Nazari twisted violently, revealing unexpected fighting skills. The move spoke of professional training, not the desperate flailing of a cornered businessman, but the calculated counter of someone with military or intelligence background. His elbow connected with her ribs, finding the gap in her body armor with disturbing precision, sending a sharp pain lancing through her side. The impact momentarily stole her breath, darkness edging her vision as she fought to maintain her grip. In the momentary advantage, he scrambled away, his manicured appearance at odds with the practiced efficiency of his movements. He reached into his jacket, movements fluid, despite the handcuff dangling from one wrist, pulling something else from an interior pocket. A small, black object that Mia recognized immediately as a weapon. Not standard issue. This was a compact, composite firearm designed specifically to evade metal detectors. The kind of specialized equipment available only to certain government agencies or those with very particular connections. She rolled for cover behind a nearby luggage cart as Nazari fired, the bullet ricocheting off concrete with a whine. Airport workers screamed, diving for safety as the confrontation escalated from pursuit to armed threat. Officer down. Shots fired, Mia reported, drawing her service weapon. Armed suspect in vehicle service area B. Nazari backed toward an idling catering truck, keeping his weapon trained in Mia's direction. "This ends one of two ways, officer," he called out. "You let me leave, or your body becomes a message to others who interfere with our business." "There's no way out, Nazari," Mia responded, maintaining cover. "The airport's locked down. Every exit is covered." His laugh carried an edge of genuine amusement. "I've escaped from situations far worse than this. Do you think this is my first contingency? There are people waiting for this cargo worth millions. People who don't accept failure." A noise from behind Nazari caught Mia's attention, the rapid click of nails on concrete. Before either could react, a blur of tan and black fur launched through the doorway. Ranger, having tracked his handler through the complex route, hit Nazari with precision, targeting his weapon arm with trained efficiency. The gun clattered across the concrete as Nazari screamed, the canine's powerful jaws maintaining their hold. Man and dog went down together, Ranger's training ensuring he maintained control without causing life-threatening injury. "Ranger, hold," Mia commanded, moving quickly to secure Nazari's free hand with the dangling handcuff. Backup officers flooded the area, weapons drawn, securing the perimeter as Mia completed the arrest. Only when Nazari was fully restrained did she give the release command. "Ranger, heel." The Dutch shepherd immediately released his hold, returning to Mia's side with military precision, his duty accomplished. "That animal should be destroyed," Nazari spat. "It attacked a diplomatic representative." "That animal just prevented you from adding murder to your trafficking charges," Mia replied, checking Ranger for injuries. As officers led Nazari away, his phone, dropped during the struggle, buzzed with an incoming message. Mia retrieved it using a gloved hand, reading the text displayed on the screen. "Extraction team in position. Confirm package security." The so-called diplomat had never been working alone. The temporary wildlife care center established in an unused airport conference room buzzed with activity as veterinarians and conservation experts tended to the rescued animals. Each creature was carefully examined, documented, and placed in appropriate temporary habitats while arrangements were made for their proper care. Through the glass walls, Mia watched the organized chaos, Ranger sitting attentively beside her. The Dutch shepherd's eyes tracked each movement, his earlier intensity now replaced by quiet satisfaction. "Your partner has quite the nose," remarked Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead wildlife veterinarian who had been called in. "These animals were triple sealed in scent-proof containers with activated charcoal filters. Standard canine units wouldn't have detected them." Mia scratched behind Ranger's ears. "He's always been special." "Special doesn't begin to cover it." Homeland Security Agent Dawson approached, tablet in hand. "Preliminary investigations suggest we're looking at a trafficking operation worth upwards of $15 million for this shipment alone." He swiped through images on his tablet. The seized documents connect Nazari to at least 7 other major wildlife trafficking operations across 3 continents. The biotoxin samples were heading to a private research facility with questionable connections. And Nazari? Mia asked, singing like a bird to reduce his charges. Turns out, Dr. Ahmed Nazari is actually Farid Malik, wanted by Interpol in connection with endangered species trafficking across Southeast Asia. The real Dr. Nazari is a legitimate diplomat currently attending a conference in Geneva. Mia nodded. And the embassy officials? One was legitimate but unwitting. His embassy had been infiltrated. The other has diplomatic credentials that check out on paper, but Interpol confirms he's part of Malik's network. Thornton joined them, looking both exhausted and satisfied. Just got word from the director's office. What could have been an international incident is now being hailed as a major breakthrough in wildlife trafficking enforcement. He handed Mia an official-looking document. This is going in your file. Commendation for exceptional judgment under pressure. Both of you, he added, nodding to Ranger. The port director approached, his earlier political concerns replaced by grudging respect. Impressive work, Officer Ramirez. Your actions today... Well, let's just say I'm reconsidering our approach to diplomatic inspections. Through the window, they could see the tiger cub, now confirmed as a critically endangered Sumatran tiger, receiving fluids and gentle care from the wildlife team. What happens to them now? Mia asked, watching the tiny creature. Most will go to specialized conservation facilities, Dr. Vasquez explained. Some may eventually return to protected areas in their native habitats. Without your intervention, they would have vanished into private collections or been harvested for traditional medicines. Agent Dawson's phone buzzed. The operation's expanding. Based on intelligence from Malik's phone, raids are being coordinated at 3 additional locations. This could dismantle one of the largest wildlife trafficking networks in the Western Hemisphere. Mia felt the weight of the day settling on her shoulders. The pursuit, the confrontation, the discovery of just how significant their intervention had been. Through it all, Ranger had remained her constant, his instincts never faltering, even when human systems and protocols had failed. You should both get some rest, Thornton suggested. Tomorrow's going to bring debriefs, paperwork, probably press conferences. Mia nodded, feeling the ache in her side where Malik's elbow had connected. Come on, boy, let's head home. As they walked through the terminal toward the staff exit, travelers and airport employees stopped to watch them pass. Word had spread about the K9, who had detected what technology couldn't, the dog who had literally bitten into an international smuggling operation. One young girl broke away from her parents, approaching with wide eyes. Can I pet him? She asked cautiously. Mia smiled. Not while he's working, but you can tell him thank you. He helped save some very special animals today. The girl nodded solemnly. Thank you, brave police dog. Ranger's ears perked forward, acknowledging the gratitude in his own way. Outside, the winter sunset painted the sky in vivid oranges and pinks as snow began to fall gently. Mia paused at the patrol car, looking down at her partner. You knew all along, didn't you? Even when everyone else doubted. Ranger looked up at her, with those intelligent eyes that had first connected with her 3 years ago. And Mia was reminded once again why she trusted this partnership above all else. There was something in his gaze that transcended simple animal intelligence, a depth of understanding, a sense of purpose that matched her own. She thought about all they'd been through together, the months of training, the countless patrols, the moments where each had saved the other. The bond between Handler and K9 wasn't something most people could understand. It wasn't just about commands and responses, treats and training sessions. It was a partnership built on absolute trust, where communication happened through the subtlest of cues. A slight change in breathing, a shift in posture, the briefest moment of eye contact. In a world of protocols and paperwork, of political considerations and diplomatic dances, there was a beautiful simplicity to this partnership. Ranger didn't care about international relations or career advancement. He cared about doing what was right, following his instincts, protecting his handler. And today, those same qualities had saved dozens of endangered creatures from disappearing forever into the shadowy world of wildlife trafficking. Mia gently ruffled the fur around his neck, finding the spot just behind his ear that he loved. "Let's go get you the biggest steak in New York, partner. You've earned it." Ranger's tail wagged once, a dignified acknowledgement of a job well done. As they walked together toward the waiting patrol car, two partners heading home after a day that had changed both their lives and the fate of countless endangered species. Have you ever witnessed the incredible abilities of working canines in action? What would you do if you were Officer Ramirez, forced to choose between following protocol and trusting your partner's instincts? Wildlife trafficking remains one of the most lucrative illegal trades in the world, worth billions annually. How far would you go to protect endangered species from disappearing forever? If you were moved by Ranger and Officer Ramirez's story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible canine tale. Share this video with anyone who believes in the extraordinary bond between handlers and their canine partners. Check out our previous canine stories appearing on your screen now. And remember, every working dog has a story, but some change the world. Stay tuned for more amazing stories coming your way next week.